Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we're taking a look at Aqua.
This is a new game from Dan and Tristan Halstad, and it's published by Sidekick Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 30 to 45 minutes.
Aqua, Biodiversity in the Oceans, is a game about drafting tiles and placing them into your own little tableau of tiles. You're trying to make habitats for different sea animals, and you're trying to make reefs to score points, because as we know, even in the ocean, points is what matters the most. You're also trying to make biodiversity, so you can place these larger animals and get even more points, because points are good. That's basically what you're going to do. You're going to draft tiles, you're going to try to place them in a way that gives you the most points, and after you have drafted 17 tiles, the player who has the most points is going to be the winner.
The artwork is by Vincent Dutrade, which I think makes amazing artwork. I really love it. And it has really nice, thick cardboard tiles as well. And I love when you place a lot of these, the reefs and the fish and the big fish on top of each other, the tiles get a little bit smaller, so it's easy to see what's underneath. Yeah,
especially when you're placing these big ones, it's still important for scoring purposes to see the colors.
Yes.
Another thing that's just wasn't needed, but it's nice, is that all of these big tiles you can kind of choose.
Yeah.
Which big animal you like. Do you like the shark or do you like the hammerhead shark? That's kind of depending on your style. I always place them right side up, so you get the cardboard the right side, because that's how I do it. There is a rulebook. I have only actually read the Norwegian rulebook, which I don't often like, but this might be the best Norwegian rulebook I have ever read.
Nice.
So that is helpful for 0.1% of you watching this video. But from this rulebook, when the Norwegian rulebook is good, I'm pretty sure the English rulebook is at least as good. So because the game is pretty simple, very straightforward, there is a few of the pages are for the solos. It kind of seems like there's quite a bit of robust solo mode with a lot of scenarios and goals and stuff that you can play for. And you have a page with all of the fish, the animals and about them for real, and you have a good reference at the back for all the abilities and things you need to know, because there is no
player aid, which is fine in this game. As you said, you have the nice reference on the back, and also the interchangeable scorings are also symbols for.
Yeah, it's really simple to understand what everything is, and if you have any questions, everything you need after you start playing the game is on the back side of the rulebook. We play the game
with 2 and 4 players, and it has taken us 20 to 30 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time for this kind of game. Yeah,
the box has 30 to 45. Even if you played it 40 minutes with 4, wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't feel like it was a long game, but 30 minutes, first time playing it with 4 people, seems like it's then gonna, if you don't play with very slow people, it's taking a lot of AP. Usually there's not a lot of AP. Sometimes you have to think a bit, okay, do I want this style or this style? And even with that, it only took about 30 minutes.
Yes.
Let's talk about the gameplay. Yeah. The game is pretty straightforward.
It is.
You are drafting tiles, and the draft is done in kind of a Calico-ish way. And that's the game I kind of feel like it is most adjacent to the drafting, because you draw random tiles and you place them in the middle of the board and then you draft them. There's a couple of changes here. You're always going to have one more than the number of players. There's also always going to be one tile that carries over from round to round. The other thing I really like is how you can draft the start player.
Yes, if it's my turn and it doesn't really matter which ones of these that I take. I can take the start player token instead. Then it skips my turn this round, but I will start the next round. I still get a tile after everyone's picked.
Yeah, so if there's nothing either everything's horrible or
everything's good.
Everything is good and you can take it. And it kind of reminds me of King Domino, where I was there's nothing good now. Hopefully it's going to be something good later.
Yes.
Of course, in King Domino, usually it's going to be better. You don't know if it's going to be better for you, but it's going to be a better tile. Here it's just random. I have to say that when you play with fewer people, you're using fewer of the tiles, so the randomness is higher.
Yeah, I liked it more with 4 players, actually, because it didn't add that much time.
No, 10 minutes.
And I thought it was fun competing to get the shapes of the big animals more with 4 players. And also, as you said, you get more of the tiles. So if I'm waiting for this specific tile, maybe don't do that.
No.
But if I'm in the position that I'm doing that, it's more likely that I will get it when you're using all of the tiles.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Calico again because I like Calico, but we didn't keep it. But most of that reason was because the luck in the drafting.
Yes.
And you need like super specific tiles for that game to work. The tiles here are less specific.
I agree.
Like it's 4 colors, 5 colors, 6 colors.
6 colors.
6 colors. And most of the time you're getting a color you need either this round or next round. It's not a lot of times where you're going to be like, oh, and of course you're not always going to get a perfect tile like you are.
Yeah, because the tiles have 3 spaces on them, and they can be like 2 of the same color and 1 different, or all different. And when you're building, you're trying to build adjacent so that the most things matches. Usually, not always, but that's how I want to play the game. And it's not always possible, but you can be lucky or unlucky getting things that always matches 2 sides or never does.
I never felt that it was like somebody always got the thing they wanted and somebody didn't get that. When you're placing, it's also it's a very simple puzzle, but it's an interesting enough puzzle. Like you are placing the tiles. It's not like, oh, it's brain burning, play, oh, what I want to do. But you are kind of choosing if you want to build habitat, which makes like a tile makes the area as a tile, and you take a little animal and you put it on top of there. You have to, if you build one, you can't not do it. And that's going to be worth points. You can also build it in ways that doesn't make that shape. And that's going to be a reef if it's more than 4 spaces. And a reef is then going to score all of the small animals that are adjacent to the reef. So you're trying to build depending on the scorings and depending on your strategy, you're trying to build like some animals. The reefs are always good. Trying to get like a couple of reefs so that they get to score some of these tiles again is pretty powerful. And I really like that the choices. Okay, do I want that here now? Or do I want to build a reef here? Should I try to race for getting these adjacent to each other and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that is a cool puzzle as well, because you can have a reef. A reef scores for the adjacent animals.
Yes.
So let's say I have a reef that is currently worth 5 points, and I can, if I build a habitat in that reef, I destroy the reef, and I only get like a 3 value animal there. Then I have lost points.
Yes.
But then I have to think, maybe I can then expand, like build more animals. I'm saying
building the animals, Board Gaming Ramblings, welcome to Theme Land.
Animals adjacent to it, then I can place a big fish on top of that, and that's suddenly more points. So that you always have this in your head, like the plan you're trying to do, and then you have to do the best of the tiles that you get.
Yeah, because you want to build these habitats for these animals, but you also want to build them in specific shapes so you can get the large animals, and those are you're racing for them because they're going to be less and less points. So those are going to be reasons why you build this in different ways, but also there's going to be every single of the 6 animals or small animals are going to have a specific scoring link to it. So for example, let's say there is a scoring linked to the jellyfish that says it wants to be adjacent to the turtle. So that means that I want to not only build those in a specific way so I get the big animal, I also want to build it so the turtle, the jellyfish is adjacent to as many turtles as possible. So, and then maybe make another jellyfish over there which is adjacent to the same turtle, so I score a lot of points that way as well. And that is when the game that's what takes the game from being an okay puzzle to an interesting puzzle for me. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
The first time we played the game, we played like a basic set. If you do that and you think the game is fine, I did, then play it again, shuffle up all the tiles and do like a random with all the advanced scorings and stuff, because that makes the game way better. It makes it, okay, I have to think about, I want to get this adjacent to this. You can't focus on all of them because there's way too much stuff. And of course, it's a bit random what tiles you get, but you have enough things to think about to make it worthwhile for me.
I agree.
So who is the game for and what is the weight?
This is a light game. Yes. If you like tile laying, casual puzzle games, which is like just enough there to keep you interested, and also variability from from the one game to the other, I think you will like this game.
Yeah, I think this is great for families. I think it's great for casual gamers, but I also think if you are like us who like the puzzle of these kind of games and you want a game that is a short, very easy to teach, like super simple to teach, especially when you play it the first time with the base scorings. It's just like a maximum of 5 minutes teach.
Yeah.
And you can play the game 2 times in an hour with the teach. I think like if you play with the same group 2 times 4 players, an hour, 2 times with the teach, no problem. And that is a great like slot to fill in your collection, needing that shorter game. Or you can, and it works great with 2, and I guess it would be great with 3. So you're playing it, you can play it like when you're waiting for somebody. It is a great, what we used to call a filler.
Yes.
For me, like if you're looking for a good filler, this is a good filler. And I'm not saying filler as a negative thing, because a filler can be a fantastic game.
Yes.
So let's do some final thoughts. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel and you like the things we say with our words about board games, then you can help us out in a big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
Final thoughts for Aqua. Biodiversity is in the oceans. Let's go.
I really like the game. As you said, it is that perfect lightweight puzzle game for me. It gives me just enough to keep me interested, and I'm super bad still at trying to think about the scorings, which of these creatures want to be adjacent to each other. So I still feel like I've not mastered this game at all, which I think is fun. That is such a light game I can still think it's hard to do well in it. And I think it's a nice one to keep in our collection. I want to keep it because I think, as you said, it's very easy to get to the table, very fast to play. I really like that. So I'm going to give this a 7.5. I think it's a really solid game.
Aqua, Biodiversity is in the oceans is a great game. The first time I played it, as I said, I was like, it was okay, it was fun. But then the more we played it, the more I liked it. It's just like that sweet spot of just enough. Just enough to make it not, I don't really care, and looking forward to get a tile I want, trying to do these puzzles. It's mostly a doing my own puzzle thing, but you have the drafting, which is kind of interactive, and racing for the big animals, so there's some interaction. But it's just like a cozy little puzzle game that I think could fit for very many people. I think very many types of people would enjoy playing this game and enjoying this game. This is who is it for? I don't know why I'm talking about this now. But me, personally, I really liked it. I enjoyed my time with it. I agree with you 100%. I want to keep the game. I'm also going to give it a 7.5.
Cool.
That's going to be the end.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.